With only 7 days towards the general elections, the presidential campaigns are picking their final stretch, even as both Raila and Ruto camps advance their political rivalry in broad daylight. It is evident, however, that this might be one of those most fierce contested seats, as we see Raila making his final shot at presidency, even as Ruto tries to maintain his grasp on power. But what exactly are the odds? Are we in any way expecting to have a possible election violence or post-election violence? What are the odds? We discuss this and put them into perspective. Welcome to the Arts in Heart. My name is Likuyani and you're watching The President We Want. Let me just bring in my panelists who are with us, and we start with Godwin. Good evening, Godwin. How are you this evening?
I'm fine, Ellie. How are you doing?
I'm great. Good to have you on set. And how has been your week so far?
So far, the week is still young, and we're hoping for the best. It's still young, but it's going to be an eventful week, given that this is the last week. The campaigns are closing this week, so everyone is running. It's a home stretch run, so it's going to be quite an eventful week. Let's see how everything unfolds.
Home stretch run, you call it. I call it the last stretch towards the finals of these elections, because we expect the elections to go live on the 9th of August 2022. However, Godwin, there are already issues with possible propaganda, manipulation of information, and all that. But this is geared towards trying to undo or overdo the other candidates. However, what captured my attention is this clip that has been doing round about the DP. Have you been able to have a glimpse of it? And what is your general feeling before we can actually get to play the clip?
I think what's happening, I don't like the issue where the politicians know the stakes that are involved in this whole election thing, and then yes, they're the stakeholders in this, but when it comes to stakes, whatever that, if whoever it affects, it's with the electorate. So when people come around, politicians try to make their issues, their personal issues, to be our problem. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
At this point in time, what I would be expecting is people to solidify in terms of selling their agenda, their manifesto, what they're going to do. You know, that's the message we're supposed to be hearing, but not, I don't know, we are going to do that, these people should not go to this place, or this one should be here, and all that, trying to divide the nation. It's really unfortunate. And if at all we are calling these politicians our leaders, they should show us the leadership, not the incitement and trying to own certain parts of the country, like this is my stronghold, these are my people, and all that. We are all Kenyans, and Kenya is one country. So at this point, we should be looking at a scenario where everyone is trying to preach peace, to tell us to go into a peaceful voting session, so that at the end of the day, once we finish the election, we are back together as a family, as a Kenyan family. You understand? Election is not a do or die thing. It's just a process. It's an event that happens once and it goes.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have to make it a matter of life and death, because at the end of the day, Kenya still remains. We all need this country. We don't have any other country where we can run to.
Well, Godwin, it's interesting you say that. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going to illustrate just what exactly misinformation can do. Godwin, I know you're already feeling a bit concerned about the so-called political hate speeches that are going around, because that's what it is. And incitement sort of information that is doing rounds. Most of you might have already received messages of a particular event that the DP was involved in. So I want us to take a moment and reflect on that message. Again, this is for educational purposes and should not be taken as a way of stamping the authority of that information. So let's take a look first. Clip number 1.
Kage koshine kimeche kalyet ameche somo ongen ole bichuni kokonai kole kisire asubuhi koamu kokonai kole kisire asubuhi komeche koib abusnatet nyokonde ngalek nya kole kakile meche cho meche chun koib pamphlets koib ne lakini ameche amwaiwo moyan ngalecha kimeche kalya ak biik tugul pirwet biikab komoswek tugul, the people from Western Kenya who are here, the people from Nyanza who are here, the people from Central who are here, shame on you. Na tutawashtaki kwa Mungu mukituletea kisirani yenu na mukwende kabisa.
Godwin, anything you pick from that clip? And the audience that are watching, let us know how you feel about that clip. Let's start with you, Godwin.
It's really sad, as I said from the onset. At this point, we really need every Kenyan on board, because whoever is going to be elected as a president is not going to be a president for a certain community or a group of people in Kenya, maybe the people who voted for them or not. Once the position or the seat these people are looking for is a position to serve all Kenyans, and we should treat all Kenyans equally as such. Not to feel like we don't need these people, we don't need this, without them we can do. You understand? I don't think that's the message we should be sending around right now. And you see, and the entire thing stems from the top, because we all know the presidency is a symbol of unity in the country, and in the past, I think the current president is the only, if not, I don't know, because there might have been others, but we've seen the president most of the time, mostly when he's in the central region, resorting to his vernacular language when addressing national issues. You understand? Because what message does that send? Because you are a symbol of unity. The office you occupy unites the country, So when you go to certain place and then you want to maybe to have a message meant for a certain a segment of people, it really disunites the country. Because now what happens, we usually have the translations. Then you find the translations, they try to depict a message like when he switches to vernacular, there's a certain group he's attacking, or a certain individual is sending directing that message to. But now at his backyard, is that the kind of messaging or the kind of leadership we need? And you see, like in the clip you just played, that is the DP. Yes, he was in his backyard, but now when you resort to speaking in your vernacular, and then the translations don't show anything like a message that is trying to unite the country. We understand these are political season. He has the right to, when he's addressing people from his backyard, he can address them in his mother tongue. That's okay, but it should be a positive message, not to switch to mother tongue for you to communicate something that can incite one community against the other. So I feel that's unfortunate.
Is it your feeling, Godwin? And again, yes. I want us to be very objective. And viewers, I want you to engage us, okay? I know you're watching, but I need us to have a very, very candid conversation over political hate speech and incitement, okay? That is what we are focusing on tonight. Godwin, and again, on top of it, it's also on misinformation. So I've played one clip of the DP where he was in his backyard, as Godwin calls it, and I will replay that clip. And for you that you want to watch that clip, I want you to tell me, how does that clip make you feel? That is very important. I want to understand how this clip makes you feel. Do you feel safe? Do you feel entitled? Or do you feel worried? Those are the three things I want you to tell me. Either you feel safe, entitled, or worried. Those are the things I want you to tell me. When you watch this clip, how do it or does it make you feel? I hope I can get that clip once again to play.
Kimeche kalyet ameche somo ongen ole bichuni kokonai kole kisire asubuhi koamu kokonai kole kisire asubuhi komeche koib abusnatet nyokonde ngalek nya kole kakile meche cho meche chun koib pamphlets koib ne lakini ameche amwaiwo moyan ngalecha kimeche kalia ak biik tugul pirwech biikab komoswek tugul, the people from Western Kenya who are here, the people from Nyanza who are here, the people from Central who are here, shame on you. Na tutawashtaki kwa Mungu mukituletea kisirani yenu na mukwende kabisa.
Godwin, do you feel safe? Do you feel worried? Or do you feel entitled after watching that clip?
I feel worried, to be honest.
Because why do you feel worried?
I feel worried because this is the deputy president seeking the highest office in Kenya. Yeah. And then he's in his backyard saying the people of Western, the people of Nyanza, the people of Central who are here, shame on you, na wakwenda kabisa. You understand? Now there's someone else, mwenye atakuwa Nyanza, he'll go tell their people from Rift Valley are here, shame on you, na mkwende. Someone in Western will say the same. Another person in Central will say the same. Where are we going to be as a country? We are a one united country. Because if we are not united, then we'll be saying, if you are a Luya, you have to operate within your community. You don't have to move beyond your borders. If you are a Luo or from Nyanza, you have to stay there. Then why are we a united country? No, we're a united country because we are united by in our diversity. You understand? And that's why you'll be a Luya, but you'll be working in Central. You are in Central, but you're doing business in Luya. And it goes that way in terms of even intermarriage. So what happens to someone who's been married in that community and they're not from that community? What are they supposed to do? Should you now divorce because you've been told you're not needed there? And I'm bringing even the aspect of marriage because back in 2007 during the post-election violence, I saw firsthand. There's one guy from Western who was married to a lady from Central. When the skirmishes started, this guy all of a sudden started beating the wife, not because she had done anything, just because she was a Kikuyu and he was Luya. And Luyas believed Raila had won and the votes were stolen. So when it narrows down to someone beating the mother to his children, what happens when he meets someone else whom they're not related or someone just a stranger? What can such a person do? And that's how bad it can be. So
great.
At this point,
so
yes,
your bottom line is you feel worried after listening to that clip with the DP addressing his people and possibly some words that were used in that event, right?
Exactly.
Now, we want to illustrate the power of the media and the power of misinformation. Gentlemen and ladies that are watching, are you aware that there is a second clip of exactly what the DP said? If you're not aware of that, it is my honor to present you that clip, and then you will tell me, Godwin, how you feel about the DP's remarks. Let's take a look.
Oyeleye kage gashine kimeche kalie tamecha somo onge no le bijuni ko nai go le kisire asubuhi kwa mu ko nai go le kisire asubuhi kumeche go abusnatet nyogonde ngalek nya go le kagile meche cho meche jun ko pamphlets ko ne lakini amecha moyo moyan ngalecha kimeche kalia apik tugul pirwet bigap komoswe tugul the Kalenjins who are here, the people from Western Kenya who are here, the people from Nyanza who are here, the people from Central who are here, the people from all parts of Kenya who are here, they belong to Wazingishu, and their home is Wazingishu, and this Wazingishu is the home of every Kenyan, and we want to tell those who want to divide us, shame on you, na tutawashtaki kwa Mungu mukituletea kisirani yenu na mukwende kabisa.
Godwin, you've listened to the DP. How do you feel?
Now, if I'm here and I'm feeling this way. You can imagine that other Kenyan who cannot access such information. Maybe you see, like, I'm privileged to have listened to both clips, but now there's someone either who listened to only the first clip. What happens? What comes to his mind? That's someone who is angry. That's someone who is so agitated. That's someone who is ready. When he or she sees a college, they feel like they're not safe, or like they feel they just want to fight. But until they listen to the second clip, what are they going to think? And that's the power of misinformation and propaganda. And you see, with the current era of this technology, people can edit anything to suit their narrative, but at whose expense? You understand? Because today you're doing that because you want to send a certain message, you want to please your candidate or whoever you're supporting, but at what expense? Because imagine people from Central, people from Nyanza, people from Western, who've listened to the first clip without listening to the second clip. What's their position? You remember you asked me the same question before you played the second clip. You saw my reaction, how I felt. Now imagine someone who's listened only to that and they've not come across the second one. And we're just a few days to election. If they don't get to listen to the other clip, what will be their perception?
It's important because politics is about perception. And I want to welcome one gentleman again to this conversation, Mr. MK, who will be joining us shortly. But before MK gets to join this conversation, now I'm going to do exactly what I did about 10 minutes ago. Play these clips back to back and ask you as a Kenyan, do you understand the power of media and the power of propaganda? Last but not least, the power of misinformation. We'll start with the first clip.
Kimeche kalyet tamecha somo. Onge no le pichuni koko kanai kole kisire asubuhi. Kwa mu koko kanai kole kisire asubuhi kumeche koib abusnatet. Nyokonde ngalek nya kole kakile meche cho meche jun koib pamphlets koib ne. Lakini amecha amwaywo moyan ngalecha kimeche kalya ak biik tugul. Pirwet biik ab komoswek tugul. The people from Western Kenya who are here, the people from Nyanza who are here, the people from Central who are here, shame on you. Na tutawashtaki kwa Mungu mukituletea kisirani yenu na mkwende kabisa. Kage kwa shinobi kapka. Oye leye. Kage kwa shine. Kimeche kalie tamecha somo. Onge no le pichuni kwa nai kole kisire asubuhi. Kwa mu kwa nai kole kisire asubuhi kumeche koib abusnatet. Nyokonde ngalek nya kole kakile meche cho meche jun koib pamphlets koib ne. Lakini amecha amwaywo moyan ngalecha kimeche kalya ak biik tugul. Pirwet biik ab komoswek tugul. The Kalenjins who are here, the people from Western Kenya who are here, the people from Nyanza who are here, the people from Central who are here, the people from all parts of Kenya who are here, they belong to Wazingishu, and their home is Wazingishu, and this Wazingishu is the home of every Kenyan, and we want to tell those who want to divide us, shame on you. Na tutawashtaki kwa Mungu mukituletea kisirani yenu na mkwende kabisa.
Indeed, Wasingishu belongs to everyone. Those were the words of the DP. But a lot of them have been spewed in a different way to appear as though the DP and his rivals are possibly circulating hate speech and political incitements against community to one another. Now, I have two gentlemen with me that I want us to continue this conversation and understand the power of misinformation. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, in 2007, about 1,100, other records show 1,300 persons died due to post-election violence in what only started by as a simple misinformation and spewing of hate speech by politicians and their supporters. Without further ado, gentlemen, welcome back, and let's start with MK. Karibu sana MK, if you can hear me, good evening.
Good evening, Eli. I can hear you very well.
Welcome to the show, sir.
Pole sana for being late. I was caught up in traffic.
You are a
Um,
man of the people, so I do understand, and you are
yes,
excused.
sometimes duty calls and you have to respond.
Yeah.
I've just heard the last two clips that you played,
Yes.
and my comments are that number one, when you talk of the media, I think sometimes it's important to differentiate between the mainstream media and what we currently call the social media, and the social media propaganda. You see, the first clip is actually edited, and it is a very dangerous clip. The good thing about Kenyans right now is that Kenyans are enlightened. Kenyans know that they are keyboard warriors. There are people who have internet, who have computers, who have who know the technology, who can sit down, edit whatever they want to edit just to fit their propaganda, what propaganda they need to spew out. For instance, that clip may not have originated from the mainstream media. I'm not defending the mainstream media. They have their shortcomings. We may get to that. But that clip is edited by propagandists to come out and paint out the speech by the DP as that which is actually incitement against the people who are not Wasigishu residents or generally Rift Valley residents, those ones who are considered as foreigners in the region. But again, when you look at the mainstream media again, they have their own shortcomings. They may come out and air these clips, a full clip, but they will target a specific area. You saw the other day the DP has been complaining about the coverage by the media, by the mainstream media. It is actually not. He was considering it. He was viewing it as not fair as compared to that or the coverage for the Azimio candidates. So when you look at this, it is actually dangerous because number one, there are people who will view it, who will watch it, who did not actually follow the whole rally, but when they view it, they will actually be agitated. They are going to be angry. They are not going to be. Others are going to be worried. There has been a rumor that some other communities are actually fleeing Rift Valley as we speak, and it is not a good sign. We have had post-election violence cases before. In 2017, we had it in 2007. It was not something you would want to repeat. And actually, even personally, I had actually predicted a very peaceful election. I thought because now every other main candidate has supporters or likely to have votes all across all ethnic communities, we are likely to have the most peaceful election we've ever had. But now it is actually coming out to look like it is not going to be. I'm not predicting any violence, but I'm saying when you look at what is happening right now, you can blame the people who are mainly the persons who are being blamed mainly right now are the people from Kenya Kwanza. But look at it this way. Look at the way the president is actually being involved in the elections. I tend to think he plays a part. Assuming he was as silent as Mike Kibaki was in 2017, do you think the DP and his team will be responding to him on anything? I don't think so. I think it is because he is actually part of the Azimio campaign. He's openly part of that campaign. So he is attacking the Kenya Kwanza campaign and the manifesto and the persons that are running that campaign. Then what do you expect? That they will keep quiet? They will have to respond to him. And in that, now what comes out is the media is coming out to say the DP is the DP and his team are angry guys. They're attacking the president. But look at the other side. They are responding to something. They are responding. They are reacting. I'm not defending them, but they are reacting. Again, on the other hand, to some extent, also the president is also reacting. He's not entirely attacking only; he's reacting to attacks on the other side. So it is attack, react, attack, react. So that is the kind of politics we are having right now. And towards the end of the campaign period, it is actually very dangerous. It is actually risky, and it has actually raised tension. That is why we are having peaceful peace meetings all over. It was in Nakuru. It is supposed to be in Nairobi this week before the campaigns close. And I think they're important because we need to pass out that message. We have been victims. We have been actually we have testified. We have witnessed rather the post-election violence years, and it has not been good. We need to change it. But the people also have to be responsible. We, the people, have to be responsible. Why should I sit down, edit a speech by somebody, by the DP or by Raila or by the president, to come to portray him as a person who is inciting others? It is actually irresponsible. It is, we shall blame the government eventually, but we are the ones spewing this. We shall say the government has failed to control post-election violence. Such a candidate is promoting violence, but we are the one who edited his speech. You see, eventually we are not going to be safe. I think this is very dangerous. We need to stop it. We need to be responsible. We need to get the message. If you don't agree with a candidate, why do you even bother with these speeches? Why do you go to his rallies to heckle and to cause violence? Why don't you sit home like me and just see what you can see? Don't react on where you can react where it's necessary, and in a responsible manner, so that we are not actually blaming anyone eventually. Right now it is a blame game.
Thank you so much, MK. Thank you so much, MK. I appreciate your contribution, and that is very healthy. Godwin, something that MK has mentioned is about us doing the dirty work and then blaming it on government. That now informs me. What is the role of the Kenyan population in combating possible post-election or pre-election violence?
Eli, trust me, we are the ones who will make or break this country. Because once we take politicians too serious and we take whatever they're saying to be so personal, yet we all know these people, at the end of the day, just 2 weeks from after elections, these people will be talking. But now, when we edit such clips to suit a certain narrative, and you're doing that for someone who doesn't know you, when we don't have peace, and or when God forbid violence breaks, it's me and you who's going to suffer. These people, they are covered. Always, like, you see, look at someone like Raila. This is someone who's been in government, he's been a prime minister, like his life is covered till he dies. Same to the DP, same to the president. But for me and you, a common man, you have a small business. When that business is demolished or vandalized, where are you going to start from? Tomorrow, when there's no unga, and all of us know, even after the government subsidies, now we don't have unga. How are we going to survive? Do we need to have a prolonged situation of this kind? So before you take such a step of trying to propagate an agenda that wants to make your candidate look nice than the other one, think about yourself first. Think about your neighbor. Think about your family. Think about your children. Where are they going to be tomorrow? Should the message or the clips you're editing cause violence? Are you going to be safe? Are you going to be exempted because you are supporting your candidate? No. You might be affected. You might be even the first casualty. Was it worth it?
Well, in fact, we should be ashamed. Sometimes I have very I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I know sometimes I also make comments that maybe they're not very good to the ears of the people who don't agree with them. But sometimes you look at a person you respected. Politics, at some point I say politics can actually, it looks like politics can zombify a mind. You really ashamed of your friend. You listen to them before you don't even want to engage them. You listen to them, you see what they post, you see what they share. They can't even verify the information of that they're sharing. They don't know the source of that information, but you look at them, you read what they're posting on social media, in the WhatsApp statuses, Facebook, Twitter, and you're really wondering, is this the guy? Is this the person I usually respect? Is this person I know? Why can this guy just actually share credible information only? Why is he looking like he's, a sycophant cannot be controlled. A sycophant, you engage a sycophant, you lose the friendship. We are actually losing friends as speak. We are losing friends, and by 8th, we will have lost more friends. And it's embarrassing, actually. It is actually a big shame. Why? Because why can't we just stick with issue-based politics? We need to develop. We call ourselves a democratic country, but we are intolerant. What do we expect? In a democracy, you expect competition. A competition should be a competition of ideas, a competition of issues. But then you don't tolerate a friend when they have another opinion, or you are spewing information that is unverifiable. You are you're actually being sending misinformation to your audience, and that should not be the case. We have seen this, we have seen it, and in fact it is being spewed firstly by the politicians themselves, secondly by ourselves, and we are helping them, because the moment we pick it up and we share it in a day, how many people have seen a WhatsApp status that is sharing a wrong information on unverified information? Eventually, you see them, a mainstream media house that is now having to take it on their own page to disown it, label it as fake news, so that now other people can read it and confirm that this was being shared, and it is not true. But you look at the persons who have shared, very respectable guys. You wonder how, why did this one have to share this? And you can't explain it. It is politics. The effect of politics, they say politics is a science, and it can be a subject of study, yes, but politics is not supposed to replace our minds. It is supposed to actually,
Exactly, MK.
we are supposed to react to it like we have our own minds.
And MK,
Yes,
I
yes.
concur with you, because you'll find even now leaders, you see, like with the first clip, you'll find the so-called leaders, politicians, playing or using the same clip to tell now other communities, you see what they're saying about us, even when they know rightly it's not the correct clip. You understand? And the same has been
Yeah.
affecting even the mainstream media. If you follow even their social media platforms, you find a media platform uploads or upload certain post or post a picture or something. A few minutes or seconds later, they delete, because does it mean even now the mainstream media has to blow whereby post information before verifying happened? Because
I think
you wouldn't expect a mainstream media just picking information, publishing it to the public, and then later on they realize it's not the correct information, and then they pull it down. What message does it send? Where's the respect that, there's a way we had a person that whatever comes from the mainstream media is the correct thing. So even if you're to verify, the only thing you want to know is it the official page or the official platform for that mainstream media. Once you verify the page or platform, you're okay. But later on, they come and pull it down because it was not verifiable. What do you make of it?
I think
Yeah.
it is out of irresponsibility. If you ask me, just briefly, I think it is out of irresponsibility. Why? Because right now, if you are keen with the mainstream media, they actually pick most of the information from social media. They actually, some of them are on social media. More actually, all of them are on social media. So they pick most of the information from social media, and that is an act of irresponsibility and laziness. Why will they depend on social media for information? Actually, it should be the other way around. That's why a media house will pick something on social media and run away with it before verifying it. Sometimes it's good. They pick some content on social media, they follow up. That is the right thing to do. Follow up, find out more information about it, turn it, detail it into a news item or a report item, then share it with your audience. That is the proper thing to do. But the moment it is shared without verification, sometimes it is wrong, then there is an apology thereafter. That is irresponsibility. And another thing, just on what you just said, we have these people you always see on social media. They call bloggers for a certain party or a certain candidate. There are politicians who employ them, and there are the people who actually make these clips that we usually see, and these memes and whatever. That is very, very, very embarrassing. And they are paid by the politicians. They make it in the interest of those politicians. They are paid by those politicians just to taint the other party and to misinform the audience, which is not the right thing. That is not what we should be doing.
Well, that is not what we should be doing. And, there's this quote that probably you guys might have come across in the Roger Stone, that says the media is either two things. The media is two things, rather. They are either evil or they are lazy, or they are both. And if you understand that, you can do whatever you want. That's why people will come up with fake stories and they appear true, and the media will pick it and run with it. By the time they want, they say, Muhesh, tulikuwa tunataka clarification, but already the damage has been done. So what do we do moving forward? I want us to know and talk about it. Let's get the comment sections. This is wrong to source your information from social media. How do you verify the credibility? They should investigate and look for the real information, which most of us are lazy to do. We have a working government. It should take charge. I'm sure it is capable, says Eugene Caponi. Thank you so much. Again, earlier on he asked, in your opinion, who is to blame MK? In my opinion, it is our leaders. Our leaders are to blame for those hate speeches that are doing rounds on social media, says Eugene. Let's see. Emmanuel says, read, all politics is local. While addressing a particular audience at a particular place, use the language you believe will sell your manifesto. Reminds me the words of the then South African President Nelson Mandela, who said, if you want to speak to a man, you speak to in his language, because then it goes to his heart. If you speak in a foreign language, it goes to his mind and then leaves. But when you speak in his language, it goes to their heart and stays. But when do we put the separation could be the question most of us are asking. I think nowadays everyone wants to be the first one to break news. And that's the competition that we are having. Everyone wants to be the star of the moment. So, gentlemen, we have discussed this, but I want us to have a moment of reflection. I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to ask a very personal experience question. Has either of you ever experienced political violence in the name of post-election violence? The most common one will be the 2007-2008 elections. Any of you? And what was your experience?
I witnessed it firsthand, Eli. I lost a cousin during the 2008 post-election violence. Someone who had just graduated, and the first job he had done was he had worked as a clerk with the IBC. So on that day, he had just gone to pick his salary. The very first salary maybe he would have had as a fresh graduate. You know, on that fateful day, he was shot during that chaos back home. You know, and that's how I lost a relative. So I know how painful it is because I face it, I experienced it firsthand, and it's something I wouldn't want anyone to experience. And there are many people who lost their loved ones. There are people who lost homes. There are people who are displaced in their own country, in the places they knew as home. So I don't think that's the route we should be taking any day.
Godwin, just before I go to you, MK, Godwin, I need you to take us to this story, really. This gentleman left to go and collect his salary. Did the family have expectations of him coming back? And what really transpired for him to be shot? Was he in a rally? Was he walking to, just paint us the real picture of this event, if it's not too much to ask.
Yeah, so this is how it happened, Eli. The guy, because post-election violence, it didn't happen like immediately. The votes were counted. Like, it's something that took time. So it is something that it was something that was gradual. So on this material day, the guy goes to the constituency head office where they were to pick their salary. So when he was coming back, for those people who come from around Kakamega area, it was he was coming from Shinyalu, so he was around Kaega. So at that point, this guy, people started running. There was a running battle between the civilians and the police. So for him, when he saw that, he was trying to go into safety. So he went to, at some point, there was some abandoned house. But now when he was going there, there was a policeman who followed him up to there. So he was shot in his stomach. So by the time, the place where he was, it was somehow a distance from the road. So he was struggling with his intestines and stuff out, so like holding. By the time he was getting to the road, someone seeing him, he was rushed to the hospital. There's some hospital called Mukumu. By then it was too late. He was rushed to Kisumu, and unfortunately he succumbed before he got to Russia hospital, and that's how bad it was. So for us, we are at home thinking this guy is coming back, and then a phone call comes. Do you know where this guy is? He was at Mukum, but he's been rushed to Kisumu. By the time we're going there, he has already lost his life.
Too sad.
We sad to hear that. I can't condole you enough. MK, do you have an experience or someone you might know that was close and went through this period?
No, not really a personal experience, but I have just been following stories and in the media about what was happening. In 2007, I was in Western. That is my home in our home in Western. There wasn't so much of the activities of post-election violence. I'm just hearing the story of Godwin Poleni. I know it is never easy to heal from that. But I could see, and I have friends who actually experienced it firsthand. Even in Nairobi, in the estates of Nairobi, they could narrate how it happened. And it was horrible. People were locking themselves in their houses. That is 2007. You had to either keep in the house or participate in the violence. That was the only option. Now you participate in the violence, you can't predict what will happen to you or to somebody else. Now in 2017, in selected areas of this country, especially this town, we had, and sadly, most of the violence actually in 2017, I tend to give my opinion that it was actually propagated and conducted by the police. I don't know what they were trying to protect. More the shootings of innocent Kenyans, the violence generally, to just make everybody silent, not talk about anything, not demonstrate, not do anything. That is actually that one. Likewise, I only followed it in the media. I haven't experienced. I wouldn't want to experience it. That is why I really hope and pray that we do have a peaceful election. We want our country to go back to normal. Already we are not, this is not the country we usually have. And mind you, we have not even voted. These things are totally different as we speak. Even businesses, nothing is happening. Not even anybody is buying new stock. You can tell it is that bad. Nobody wants to transact at this moment. Kila mtu anakuambia, wait, let's wait. We can do it next week after elections. See, that is something that is already crippling the economy, affecting everyone, even before anything, even before any violence can be experienced. We just hope it is not experienced. And I had I saw the comment from my very close friend and brother Eugene. Eugene says it is actually the government to blame, for the leaders to blame. Yes, it is first the leaders, I agree, because we cannot get anything to spew or to build propaganda on unless it is provided by the politicians. But where we get it wrong is where we now adulterate it. We create another different thing from what has been given to us in form of speeches and rallies and presentations, and we now share it. We pick it up, we share it. Something is bad, you really tell this is wrong against Raila, this is wrong against Ruto, even if it were true, but it is not something good. But you are now sharing it because you don't support Ruto, you don't support Raila. That is not the right thing to do. That is actually bad. And another comment, I didn't see the guy who shared it. Said politics is local. I think I agree, but there is a limit. When a candidate like Raila or any other candidate, who's not a state officer, comes out there campaigning and talks to the people in the local dialect, even a state officer who is campaigning for a seat, it is okay. because you've gone to that place. You want to appeal to that community, speak their language, let them relate with you, let them talk to you in your own language, engage. But now, when you have a state officer, to be specific, there is something I never agreed with. When we're talking, when you are maybe a state, you're a president, for instance, you go organize leaders from a certain community using state resources in a state avenue, in a state premises, then the whole discussion is done in your mother tongue. I don't think that is, I think that is where we should draw the line. Because now you should be speaking about state matters. If there is, if at all it is something really good, why would you switch? Unless yet you're not even campaigning. I tend to say whenever a politician switches to the local dialect, that is the same moment they cease speaking of issues of national importance. You should, even if you're not interested in that, you should just actually stop listening to them, because that is the moment they now speaking to their own people. It is nothing of national importance. Otherwise, they will do it in a national language that everyone wants to listen to. It is something that is only edible by their own people.
Thank you, MK. Gentlemen, I asked you that question because I have experienced post-election violence in, I would say, firsthand. And just like Godwin's relative, this was my first job, and it was a student job. So I was still in my, doing my lessons as a journalist. And then I was on attachment. But because one of the cameramen was not able to come to work due to the place of residence they were residing, I was assigned that job. And you know what had happened? Most of you, if not all of you, might remember the Kiambaa Church, KG, burning, where people were burned inside the church, children, women, and faithfuls. I was one of the crew that went to the scene, recording and reporting on what had happened. These are things that never get forgotten. And you follow their stories for the survivors when they leave, to those who are seeking to be, paid by state and compensated, never got compensated, stayed and lived at the Agricultural Society of Kenya field or showground in Eldoret, rainy days. I covered all that. And some of these images never disappear. So when somebody at the top of their voice who understands nothing to do with violence or the price that comes with incitement and political discord, all I can tell you is shame on you, because you have no idea. Politics is a form of leadership that is meant to cater for everyone's needs. There is good and there is bad politics. But the bottom line is, politics is a selfish entity that only takes care of the politicians, and the electorate, or rather population, is just but a way to their means. Until you understand that, you will trade with politics and politicians at an arm's length. Right now, we are speaking about the possibility of businesses happening and others not happening. What you don't realize is there are businesses which most of them own, including insurance companies, will be cashing a lot of money from the businesses you'll be losing. Or possibly, they'll be encouraging you to buy policies with them. So create a chaos and become a hero. That's how politics works, unfortunately. Can we have closing remarks from you, gentlemen? Let's start with you, Godwin.
I think for the remainder of the shows that we're going to have, my key message will be peace, peace, peace. Because without peace, even as this platform, we might not be meeting here if you don't have peace. Because trust me, how will I be comfortable from wherever I'm hosting this show from? Yet I don't know what's happening out there. I don't know what will be happening to me in the next few minutes. So for us to continue having this conversation, we all need to be peaceful. Let us bear in mind that you are my neighbor today, you'll remain to be my neighbor even after elections. You're my friend today, you remain to be my friend even after election. So let us not create enmity to try and satisfy someone who doesn't care about you, someone who doesn't even know how you're living and what you're doing. Let's be vigilant, let's be sober when we're going to vote. It's nothing personal. And if there's advice I can give anyone from now is the famous quote from the current Uasin Gishu governor, Jackson Mandago. What do you call it? Politics, not in your heart. Put it in your lungs, cough, and it goes. It's nothing personal. At the end of the day, these people are going to talk tomorrow. But what impact will you have caused in your neighbors or your relative or your friend's life? So let's be watchful and continue embracing peace.
Ellie, on my part, my main message, my only parting shot is that on 9th we shall go to elections, and we shall definitely have somebody declared a winner, or eventually we shall only have one president. And now after that, we shall need to continue with our lives. We shall need our friends back. We shall need our economic means back. We shall need peace. Peace actually is after elections. You know, before elections, we can talk of we need a credible elections. So in addition to peace, we need credible elections too. But after elections, we need our peace. Now, how do we get that peace? We will have that peace if we can manage expectations. These are the expectations, that we shall only have one president, and nobody knows who that president is. Now, how do you react after you realize the person you support is not declared a president? Now, that is where managing expectations is. That is now where the problem usually starts. Somebody you expected to be the winner is not the winner. Now you turn to the person who you know supported the other candidate. Now that one becomes your enemy. That person exercises their own right to vote, or even they may not have even voted, but you just think this one voted for so and so. You can't even verify. You attack them. That's not the right thing to do. Let us manage expectations. Let us know that eventually we will win or we will lose. Once we have that, we will have a peaceful period after elections. That's all I can say for now.
Manage your expectations and peace, peace, and peace. Those are the wise words from this gentleman here on set. I do hope that you guys are going to make the right decisions, because we can only but help you understand what is at stake. You decide what you put in the stake. My name is Likuyani Ele. Thank you so much, MK Ronald from Havagali and Kadima Advocates. Of course, Godwin Segero, our producer and manager here at Art in Heart. On behalf of every other person that made this program a possibility, thank you so much. We do expect to have the African man, of course, and Victor coming on set tomorrow, if not Thursday. And on Friday, we shall be having an exclusive with a diaspora setting where we look at what is at stake for the diaspora voter come 9th August 2022. Until tomorrow, see you, same place, same time, and always make sure to subscribe, share, and invite more people to these conversations. Good night, and God bless you guys.
Good night, guys.
We all have to remember that hate crimes is preceded by hate speech. We all have to remember that the genocide of the Tutsis in Rwanda started with hate speech. The Holocaust did not start with the gas chambers. It started long before with hate speech. What we have been seeing in Myanmar against the Rohingya population started also with hate speech. And today, what we are witnessing around this world, with the rise of extremists, be it in Europe, be it in Asia, everywhere, when we see the growing number of neo-Nazi groups, neo-fascist groups, when we see the way migrants and refugees are being vilified, we need therefore to make every effort to address this hate speech. We have to bear in mind that words kill. Words kill as bullets. And that is why we need to make every effort to invest on education, to invest on the youth, so that the next generation will understand the importance of living peacefully together. We need to make every effort so that the attacks like the one we have witnessed in Sri Lanka, when churches were attacked, the one we witnessed in New Zealand, what we saw in Pittsburgh, all this has to stop. And to stop it, we need to invest more on mobilizing the youth. We need to use the verb to become a tool for peace, a tool for love, a tool for increasing social cohesion, harmony in our world, instead of being a tool for committing genocide, crimes against humanity.